dangerous mind, so what did I choose? Look, I find every day I got something to prove. Move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move. Head to the sky, feet to the ground. I give a what the hater do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let this make you grow? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I would not ever let go. Using negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went the distance, no helping hand. Now my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show up now.
And here we go, getting set for Game 6 tonight between the Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. Welcome to the Golden Knights Morning Skate Report, presented by UMC. That's Gary Lawless over there. Right back from Denver and the overtime win, and I'm Dave Goucher. Great to have you with us here this morning. The Golden Knights, might be a few guys that'll trickle on the ice here, Gary, at this point in the playoffs. A lot of these are optional. We'll see. Team traveled back, obviously, from Colorado after the game the other night. You were in the radio booth. How did it look from your vantage point, especially when number 61 had a nice little break-in overtime?
It's interesting. Obviously the great chance for Comfer and the save from Fleury. And in my mind was, wow, this is just like Game 2 in OT. And it turned out it was, because a couple shot blocks. Pacioretty makes a really subtle, strong, offensively instinctive play, gets it up to Stone, and then I'm like, okay, I'm looking, like, they're going to catch him. They're going to catch him. And he knows that too. He knows both the guys bearing down on him are faster. He is one of those guys, though. There are like receivers or running backs in the NFL that are faster with the ball than without it. Mark Stone's faster with the puck. Not many players are. He is. And he just gets just enough room. And it's a great shot. It's and it was just fascinating to see the reaction. There were two reactions on ice, because half the players went to Stone, the other half went to Fleury.
Yeah,
because Fleury had just saved their bacon with that tremendous save, and also I think after the first goal, the Brandon Saad goal at the end of the first period, Fleury was irate with himself. His teammates wanted to kind of fist pump him, like kind of tap his pads. He wanted no part of that at the end of the first period. He wanted to be left alone. And I don't know what he said after the first period in the intermission, but something to the effect of that one's on me. Get me another one, and I'll help you out. Well, Colorado got two, and then finally Vegas got going. And I will say this: I thought Game 2 was. Vegas was the dominant club in that game and lost. And I thought in Game 5, Denver was the dominant club and Vegas won. The hockey gods have a funny way of evening things out. Sometimes. They don't always. No. They can be fickle too. But I really think that this series is sitting exactly where it should be. Vegas has been better in 3 of the games. Colorado has been better in 2 of the games. Series is 3-2 Vegas.
Send us your questions on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us on all of those platforms here today. We'll take a look back at Game 5. Also a look ahead to Game 6 tonight. 3 of the final 4 teams are already through, of course, out east. Not that it's the conference final this year, but the semifinals, right? You've got the Islanders that made it through Boston last night. Tampa Bay, the defending champ, already through. And then the winner of this series between the Golden Knights and the Avalanche will take on the Montreal Canadiens. So I always like to hear the kind of the stories, Gary, and that's why I was kind of asking you what was going through your mind when Stone broke in. So I was lucky enough to go up to the game the other night just to watch it as a fan. And I'm sitting behind the net where Grubauer was defending in overtime. And I'm 40 rows up, and I'm with some folks from the office, some of our sponsors who made the trip up for the game. So when Landeskog throws the puck on net from the left wing boards, Fleury makes the save. So it's right in front of me. Stone scores at the opposite end. So that chance from Landeskog, and then the rebound goes to Comfort. And it's right in front of me. So I gave it I just hid my eyes. I didn't want to watch it. And I figured, well, if the crowd goes nuts, I'll know what happened. If they don't go nuts, I'll know that Fleury made the save. Sure enough, he makes the save. Stone goes down the other end and scores. Through 2 periods the other night, Golden Knights didn't have a lot going. They had 2 shots from forwards. They had one from Alex Tuck and one from William Karlsson, and yet still found a way to grind it out. I'm not sure what was particularly said in that second intermission, but the Tuck goal right early in the third, off a turnover by Burakovsky. And that they needed something to turn the momentum of that game around because they didn't have a lot going their way the first couple of periods.
Absolutely, and it was interesting. I texted a few people after the second period, our buddy Dave Delzato and my family, and I said, you know what? I got a feeling. I've got the text. I got a feeling something magical is going to happen tonight. Don't turn the TV off. And
or the radio.
Or the radio. Yep.
Somebody I know does the games on the radio.
Yes. So it was a weird one. You know what I mean? And I thought they should be down 1-0 because the first goal should not have gone in. And 1-0 going into the third period on the road, you're in pretty good shape. They didn't have any breaks. They hadn't made any breaks for themselves either. You just mentioned the shot totals were very low. Colorado was better, not a ton better. The final shot clock was, not the disparity wasn't crazy. I think Vegas has done a really good job blocking shots, and they have done a pretty good job of not giving Colorado second opportunities. That chance in overtime was off a rebound, but for the most part they've been really effective cleaning up rebounds. And maybe the biggest storyline in the series for me, they haven't taken any penalties. Yeah. One penalty in game 5, puck over the glass. And it goes back to game 2, the call in overtime, which Pete DeBoer suggested was manufactured by the Avalanche, that Rantanen dropped his stick to embellish the situation and to try to get that call. I think a lot of people agree with Pete DeBoer, and I think the referees from there on out, it's got to be, everybody's got to see it for us to call it. And to be honest with you, I think I think this series has been played really well and really fairly, and it's been excellent. I've really liked the work of the officials, save for the call in overtime in game 2. And you know what? That happens.
You'd rather have it that way, right? Let the players decide. I would.
To a certain extent, right? You know what I mean?
Right?
Well, I said this in game 2. Vegas took 4 penalties in the first period, and they were all deserved. They should not be able to hook and hold the Colorado, and vice versa. Vegas has got a bunch of speed players too. If all of a sudden William Karlsson and Riley Smith have sticks in their bellies, and people tugging on their jerseys, those should be penalties. That's not the way the game's played anymore. Vegas has checked with their legs ever since they got through that not having their energy. Right after that first period in the second game, their game's been really good in that regard ever since.
So some people checking in, Gary, on Facebook. Tibor watching from Hungary.
Tibor.
The opening faceoff tonight in Hungary will be at 3 a.m. And I would bet you
Tibor will be with us.
Watching. The great Jesus Lopez is checking in.
Yeah, Jesus.
On Facebook. So yesterday.
Jesus' son graduated from school.
Oh, way to go.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Felicitations, is that how you say it?
I think so.
All right.
I think so. That sounds right. So yesterday, Derek Englund and I were sitting in these same seats while I was here.
You traded down
today. No question. And we were doing Nighttime at Noon, the radio effort.
There you go.
So what we did was we played the 3 calls of the game winner from
Game 4.
From Game 5.
Oh, Game 5.
Game 5 from Tuesday. So we had Kenny Albert on the national TV call, of course, Dan, and you guys on the local call, and then Spanish broadcast with Jesus. So we played them back to back to back. And as always, Jesus was the best of the 3. But the funny part was someone had dubbed in some music, some celebratory Spanish music right after the goal was scored. What's going on? How does that happen?
Good stuff.
So if you could talk to Dan tonight about if there's a big goal, maybe you have a little.
No.
I don't think Dan would go for that. Maybe a little music bed underneath the goal.
Dan is how should I say this properly? He's a stickler.
Particular.
And particular, yes.
Yep, that's great.
They're waving at us. Something's going on.
They're waving at us because Mattias Janmark, who returned in Game 5, is addressing the media before Game 6.
to be on the ice. It's always hard, especially in the playoffs, to watch from the side. But I think the team played great when I was out of the lineup, and just was trying to come in and do my part. And we were off to a pretty bad start, but yeah, figured it out late in the game. And as far as myself, try to get my legs going. It's a fast game out there, so try not to do too much. But I think as the game went on, I felt like I got better and better. So hopefully I can be even better today.
So we'll go to Storian Bontoni, Vegas Golden Knights.
Mattias, the Avs haven't lost 4 in a row all season long, and that's the test tonight in a game where Colorado is also fighting to keep their season alive. So what kind of will to win will it take from your group to be able to close out this series tonight at home?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's a cliche that the fourth one is the hardest to win, but it really is. They have it all on the line today, but we got to make sure that we put it all on the line too. We got to treat it as a Game 7 for us too. We got a big opportunity here tonight in front of our own fans. So it's a really big game for us, and we really got to look at this as a Game 7 for us, and don't look beyond that. We got to put everything we have into it, and hopefully come up with a win.
Next, we'll go to Justin Emerson with the Las Vegas Sun.
Hey, Mattias, in that third period on your guys' goals, you kind of got your stick on the ice to get the puck away. Wall got it to Tuck, who got the goal. I guess, how do you guys feel about the way your line's playing? Maybe especially in the defensive zone. And what do you think you guys can kind of do there to exploit some mismatches?
I think we had a decent game. We didn't give up much at all. Our line had a hard time to get going and creating. But I mean, it's two really good teams out there. Like I said, it goes fast. It's a fast game, and both teams like to get on the forecheck, and both teams break out pretty good too. So you gotta just take advantage when you get those chances. And like I said, we want to get on our forecheck, and we were able to there on that goal. And Rossi made a good play to Tucky, and he finished it off in a really good way. So yeah, you want to be good defensively for sure, and then get on your forecheck and spend some time down there. I think we can do a little bit better job of that today, and hopefully we can get some more momentum today.
We'll take 2 more questions for Mattias Janmark. Next one goes to Mark Spector from Sportsnet.
Hi, Mattias. I watched you play in the bubble last year for Dallas, and the Stars were a team that they started to believe as it went on, right? You guys got some stuff happened in your favor. Some players started coming out of nowhere, and you started winning and winning and winning. You went all the way to the Cup. Talk to me a little bit maybe about the belief and sort of the intangibles it takes. This Vegas team it's a good team, and they know how to win. Maybe the intangibles it takes that us people on the outside wouldn't know about when you're trying to build a playoff winner.
Yeah, I mean, our journey last year with Dallas was a little bit different. I think we came in a little bit more as the underdogs. We had a rough start in the round robin, and we had a really tough first round against Calgary, and we kind of build off of that. And like you said, we scored at the right time. It felt like all playoffs long, and that's what you need to do. While it's this year, I feel we have a really confident group in here. This team has played really good all year long. Probably been the top team in the league all year long. And we're a really confident group, but we were down 2-0 in this series, and that's where I think the confidence comes into this group. I feel like even after those 2 games, we just went back home and took care of business, and now we've set ourselves up. So yeah, I think games like last game where you come back in the third period really gives you belief in a long run. But it's these games, Game 6, Game 7s. That's where you need to be really confident. And I think we learned a little bit in the Minnesota series, and in how to close teams out and how hard it can be. So hopefully we can gain some more confidence today and close these guys out in Game 6, because I think that's where you win and lose in the playoffs in the long term.
Last question here today for Mattias goes to Vince Sapienza from Channel 5, Las Vegas.
Hey, Mattias, you just kind of touched on it, but I was take away from that Minnesota series and in closing out a team and doing it at the first opportunity, and how much confidence going through that in the first round helps you, I guess, here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you try to learn. It's not easy. I mean, we really wanted to win that game 5 against Minnesota too. I think maybe we can bring the urgency up a little bit more than we had then, and I think we will for sure. But like I said before, we have a really good team coming in here too, who has to steal one from us. So it's going to be a battle out there. But yeah, I like our chances, and hopefully we can bring the crowd into it and get going and maybe get the first goal, and that'll come a long way.
Thanks, Mattias.
Thank you.
Janmark, of course, wrapping up his pregame availability on the Station Casinos rink cam. You're looking at what is a pretty optional skate for the Golden Knights as they get set for Game 6 tonight. We should mention reports on Twitter that Avalanche coach Jared Bednar not at T-Mobile Arena. They were scheduled to skate at T-Mobile this morning, an irregularity in his COVID-19 test. So what that means for Game 6 tonight, we're not quite sure.
Let's hope nothing.
Okay,
yeah,
right?
let's hope Jared. Let's hope it's a funky test and that he is behind the bench.
Yep. Hopefully
running
he's
the
good to
Avs.
go. You bet. So, getting set for the 6th game tonight. You heard Mattias Janmark talk about this, Gary. The Golden Knights, he thinks learned something from that Minnesota series. Right?
course
We're up
they
3
did, yeah.
games to 1. All of a sudden, it's 3-3 with a Game 7 on home ice, and the Golden Knights would. Denver's a great city. They have no desire to go back there for a Game 7 on Saturday.
Well, the script for winning a series when you don't have home ice advantage is to hold serve in your own building and to win one of the first 3 on the road, so that you give yourself a chance to win the series in Game 6 on home ice. That's Vegas has home ice advantage in the series for 1 game and 1 game only. That's tonight. You are the home team. Last change can end the series tonight. All of that stuff that they have flipped the script on the Avalanche, but it lasts for 1 night only. This is the chance to do it. Otherwise, you got to go to Denver. You give Jared Bednar the opportunity to get Nathan McKinnon on the ice against whoever he wants to. Last change. All of those situations. I know Pete DeBoer said the other day that he's not as invested in the matchups as some people are. That being said, if you can have Mark Stone out against that line, which he's done a ton of when they're in Vegas, that's what you do.
A word from our partners at T-Mobile while we have a chance, the official 5G wireless service of the Vegas Golden Knights. As you take a look on the Station Casinos rink cam, an optional skate for the VGK as they get set for Game 6 tonight. We will step aside briefly and be back with more of our morning skate report presented by UMC.
The most challenging opponent is one that adapts. That's when you need to take your game to a higher level. Just like the doctors at Comprehensive Cancer Centers. From using the body's immune system to fight cancer, to pinpoint surgery without the surgery, Comprehensive is finding new ways to attack, new ways to defend, new ways to change the game.
World-class skill, elite care, Comprehensive Cancer Centers.
At Smith's, we go over and above to make sure we have the freshest stuff in our stores. That's why we get secret shoppers to do pop inspections.
Secret Asian man, secret Asian man.
We make sure Smith's produce isn't just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Smith's, fresh for everyone.
Dollar Loan Center has been Nevada's community short-term lender for over 20 years, and DLC is thrilled to announce that we are now the official short-term lender of the Vegas Golden Knights and Henderson Silver Knights. And we are taking it up a notch with a brand new location, and this one is 200,000 square feet. We are proud to have the Silver Knights call the Dollar Loan Center its new home. And yes, we'll even have an activation center in our amazing new Henderson Arena. Opening in early 2022.
All right, Dave and Gary back with you for our morning skate report here at City National Arena. The Golden Knights and the Avalanche in a huge Game 6 tonight at T-Mobile Arena. 6 bells opening face-off. Be sure to be there. Yes, what do you have?
Well, be there early, stay late.
Be there early, stay late.
It's going to be around 90 degrees at puck drop. beautiful.
Perfect.
They will show the game on the big screen in front of the arena. So if you want to come down and go to the park, hang out there, have a couple of pops, grab a slice.
I might do that.
Grab your phone, stream Fox 98.9 for Dan and Gary. Stroll around, enjoy the atmosphere.
Why wouldn't you? What else would you be doing tonight besides that?
Seriously.
Yeah, come on. I mean, who's kidding who? Hey, birthday wishes. Tim Whitecloud, Zach Whitecloud's dad. It's his birthday today. I'm not sure how many candles are on the cake, but happy birthday to Tim.
A really
Whitecloud.
important person in the province of Manitoba.
Yeah.
A person who gives back to the community and has done a lot for the Indigenous community, for the entire community up there in Manitoba. Very well thought of, and Zach, that apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. Doesn't fall very far from the tree.
Yep, both very good men. Some questions, Gary, from first off on YouTube. Marcus wants to know, and this has been a big storyline in the series as well. Marcus, thanks for watching. How do the Golden Knights go about continuing to shut down Colorado's top players since Game 1? The big guns, we know who they are. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
They have not been able to do anything at 5-on-5. How do they continue that?
Well, number one, stay 5-on-5. Don't get in the penalty box. And then it has just been a complete team effort to check, not just on that line, because Colorado, actually, to be really honest with you, Jerry Bednar split his lines up. Donskoy was on the fourth line. Like, they had danger throughout their lineup the other night when he had sawed up with McKinnon and Rantanen. It has to be 5 guys checking all the time. And if you look, I watched Ken Danico did a great job on NHL Network last night breaking down some of the plays, and Ken was a really good defenseman for the New Jersey Devils, won 3 cups, and really understands the way a team must defend, because that's how they did it there in New Jersey for a long time. When Nathan McKinnon has the puck, the defenseman has to be able to have a good gap on him, not too much space. And then when McKinnon goes to move, there's got to be a forward in his hip pocket. And it's been William Karlsson or Chandler Stevenson or Mark Stone, Riley Smith. They've just done a great job coming back as 5 and then moving up as 5. So that's the key. And if you can, on the Marchessault goal, you saw that. Landeskog makes the pass to Graves, and it's not a great pass. Well, the VGK forwards are right there. Scoop, grab it. Odd man rush going the other way. That excellent detail, attention to detail defensively results in offense transitionally for the Golden Knights, and they're one of the best teams in the NHL at it.
If the Golden Knights win tonight or Saturday.
I just channeled my inner Shane Knighty.
That was pretty good.
That was good stuff.
Text Shane, let him know.
Marcus.
Maybe pack up his things.
I'm here for you, Marcus.
If the Golden Knights win tonight or Saturday, right, that would mean none of the top 4 seeds in any of these divisions get through, right? You've got the Islanders were 4th seed. Montreal was a 4th seed. Tampa was a 3 seed, although they won the Stanley Cup last year. And the Golden Knights number 2. But
Tampa was a 3 seed that added Kucherov to their lineup. What's he got? Like 18
he
points?
The league,
18 points in 11
proves
games?
You don't have to play in the regular season. He leads the league in scoring in the playoffs.
What an ad.
Oh, my gosh. He's been unbelievable. Other questions here. David wants to know. David on Facebook, but this David would like to know. How will the Golden Knights fare against the Canadians if the VGK move forward into the Final Four?
Well, that is the great sort of unknown this year because of the divisional alignment. Like, frankly, I don't know how the Islanders and the Lightning match up either. And I've said this all along. Like, people watch the Winnipeg Montreal series, and then they'd watch it at 4:00, and then at 7:00, Vegas and Colorado would come on, and they would say, "Oh, this series is way faster." The Colorado Vegas series, okay, but Montreal's playing a really good brand of hockey right now. Like, the Winnipeg Jets swept the Oilers, and then they just got swept by the Canadians. And the Canadians knocked out the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, and I actually think the Leafs and the Avalanche are built similarly. There's a lot of skill, a lot of potential for offense, and I'm really excited to see either Colorado or Vegas go up against Montreal, and to see that matchup of Tampa and Tampa Bay. But what you really asked me was, how would Vegas match up against Montreal? So if Vegas were to get there, Vegas has speed, but it also has size. Montreal right now really pinning their defensive work on being big and heavy on their blue line. Weber, Sherratt, they've got big bodies. Price is a big man. They've made it hard to get to the blue ice, and Price has been dominant. Well, Vegas has big forwards. But for me, the really exciting part of this series could be Nick Suzuki, former VGK, Max Pacioretty, 10 years with the Canadiens, captain of the Montreal Canadiens. They don't take that lightly. Gainey, Beliveau, Keane, Cornway, Richard. We're talking about heavy hitters. Max Pacioretty was one of them. I don't think Max Pacioretty's going to be fired up to play against the Montreal Canadiens. This would be
awesome.
I don't think we call it the Suzuki Bowl. I think we call it the Pacioretty Bowl.
How about this? The Canadiens have not trailed for a single second of a game since they fell behind 3 games to 1 to the
Seven
Leafs.
games in a row.
7 in a row.
Yeah.
Right, ripped off 3 straight to come back.
Great way to play hockey.
Yep, swept the Jets people right out too.
Marc Bergevin fired Claude Julien and brought in Dom Ducharme, and it didn't go great. Usually you get a bump when you fire the coach. That wasn't the case. The Canadiens kind of really limped along and made it to the playoffs as the 4th seed in the North Division in Canada, and then all along, there was this whisper that this team wasn't built for the regular season. It wasn't built for cookie time. This was built for the playoffs when guys don't worry about their cookies. Guys only worry about their wins. And that's really, that's come true. And if you've seen Marc Bergevin, he's let his hair grow out. It's all gray right now. And
the beard.
Yeah, he's not getting fired anymore, which he was. There were a lot of calls for that. If you've seen him at the end of both series, like when they knocked out Toronto, and then when they knocked out Winnipeg, he's been down by the tunnel, high-fiving his players. It's been exciting. I'd love to watch Cole Caulfield play in the flesh too.
Yeah, it'd be terrific. All right, Rosalie checks in on Facebook.
Rosalie, you're very close to Rosalita.
Rosalita. Big song.
Dave and I, big Springsteen fans, so we're going to call you Rosalita for the next couple of minutes.
Okay, Rosalie or Rosalita.
Yes. Rosie come out tonight.
She says, I listen to Dan and Gary while watching the TV on mute for the games now.
Thank you.
She misses Dave and Shane. Understandable. But a shout out to Rosalie. In my old job in Boston, I used to tell people, just turn down the TV and turn up the radio.
Well, listen,
I would do that too.
I would not.
So listen to Dan.
The guys, I want to take a second here. There is a lot of talk about how, they don't give Vegas a fair shake. They're supposed to be neutral.
That's right.
They do a great job. Kenny Albert is,
he's pretty good.
It goes Duva, Goucher, Albert. Okay? All right? Kenny's really good. He's going to leave NBC and be the #1 guy at ESPN. At Turner. He's taken Eddie Olczyk with him. Edzo is top-notch. And Brian Boucher, he's going to ESPN. I think they do a great job. Listen, I would rather have Dave and Shane on as well, for sure. That would mean Lawless and Order would be. That's the only reason.
Oh, now we're getting
now
back
the truth comes out.
Now it's down to the nitty gritty now.
No, Millard, Stormy, Mike,
I know.
McKenna. We missed having our team on, but I think the other guys are doing a good job. And Dan is a rising star in the NHL. He's fantastic on play-by-play.
So a couple of things before we wrap this up. The Golden Knights will try to make it 4 straight wins against Colorado tonight. The Avs in the regular year lost 3 in a row once.
Mm-hmm.
Golden Knights will try to serve them 4 straight tonight. We cannot wrap this up, Gary, without a word on Jonathan Marchessault.
Yes.
5 goals in the series, right? The huge goal in Game 2 to tie it relatively late, the hat trick in Game 4, and the tying goal again in Game 5 the other night.
Somebody said to me he only had 1 goal coming into the series, and a pro scout for another team said, is that contract starting to look bad? And I was like, seriously? Like, honestly? He had a great regular season. He was fantastic in the regular season. Pete DeBoer has changed his game a little bit and added some layers to it. He's not a Corsi monster anymore. He doesn't just shoot. He holds the puck, looks for opportunity, doesn't turn it over in the offensive zone as much as he used to. And say what you will about Jonathan Marchessault. but you better include that he is a money player, a big-time guy who loves the spotlight, and when it's shining at brightest, he finds a way to fight his way out of the clouds and into the sunlight, and boy, has he delivered in this series.
Well, that's good. That's back to your writing days. That sounds like a that's pretty good. You've written a few stories in your day.
Rosalie, she got me all worked up.
Rosalie, you're the best, Rosalie. All right, that's going to do it, Lawman. So Dan and Gary will have the call tonight, 98.9 FM on the radio. If you're around a TV set, tune in on NBCSN, of course. Whatever your mode of communication, decide to watch the game. But a packed Fortress, third game in a row, right, with full capacity tonight, which will be, I don't know about you, Gary, my ears ring after the games. It's so loud.
Well, Dave is a man of music. He'll tell you this. Game 3, I thought it wasn't the biggest crowd in Golden Knights history. I thought it might have been the best crowd in Golden Knights history. And the best way to explain it for me was it was the late Led Zeppelin drummer, John Bonham, famous for his drum solos. It was a 3-hour drum solo. A John Bonham banging the skins. Max Weinberg will be upset that
I know this isn't going well.
Throw
for
him
Max.
in here, but
he's pretty good too, though.
Pretty good. I played No Surrender last night for my daughter. The drums in it, oh baby,
yeah, pretty
punchy.
So there you go. If that doesn't have you fired up, I don't know what does. So game
No Surrender. That's the theme for the VGK tonight.
They'll try to move on to the Final Four. They can do it with a win tonight in Game 6 against Colorado. As we said, Dan and Gary with a call on radio. You can also tune in as well to the national TV call on NBCSN. 6 o'clock face-off from the Fortress. Thanks for joining us for our Morning Skates Report presented by UMC.